And yesterday was Halloween. There have been many legends and tales surrounding spooky happenings throughout Andover's 238-year campus history. And according to some students, there have been multiple ghost sightings, as well as unexplained electrical problems in dorms such as Henry L. Stimpson House and Smith House. So, are some Andover dorms haunted? Here's reporter Sabby Clemmons, class of 22, with the story.
Thank you, and welcome to Andover Unsolved. First, we headed to Stimpson House in Pineville, situated directly behind the graveyard. We met with Piper Drew, who, amongst others, had experienced strange noises and interactions, including suspicious banging on windows and doors seemingly opening on their own.
My current room is haunted, but we held a seance to get rid of it, so this happened my lower year. Basically, it was technically April 1st. It was 12:13 a.m. I do remember looking at the clock. I was in my bed trying to fall asleep, and I rolled over, and at the foot of my bed there was this woman standing there, and she was in this long white dress, and her arms were outstretched, and in her hands she was holding what I can best describe as like a ball of wire almost that had a light radiating from the center of it. I promptly screamed, and she disappeared. My roommate came in and was like, "What's going on?" I was like, I saw a ghost. We ended up all sleeping in my proctor's room that night because we were terrified. The following evening, me and the rest of my hallmates gathered in our common room of our 3-room double and held a seance. So this one girl found something online, some incantation to recite to get rid of the ghost, and we had candles. We all held hands, we said the incantation, and I haven't had a ghost problem since then, but for safety reasons, I bought a container of salt and salted my doorsteps and my windowsills to try and keep any evil spirits out.
Like Piper, other Stimpson residents have claimed stories of paranormal nature. Alyssa Maffaletto also has stories about lights turning off and on by themselves.
I borrowed some battery-powered string lights from my friend, and I put them up on my wall so I could sleep with some lights on. I put new batteries in, I hung them up, I turned them on. I woke up at like 3 a.m., they were still on, everything was fine. And then when I woke up around 7 that morning, they were off. So I assumed that the battery had just died. But when I looked at the little, like the switch box that has the on-off switch, they had just been switched off. So either somebody had like snuck into my room and switched them from on to off, or what I like to believe is that a ghost had flicked it off.
I have this lamp that is activated by touch only, and I was using it one night, and then I turned it off before I went to sleep. And then at 6 a.m. I woke up and the light was on and directed towards me, but like it's across the room from my bed, so I couldn't have touched it or anything, and like it was touched, but my door was still locked, and yeah, I don't know what happened, but it was kind of creepy.
Other students, such as Sophia Witt, 20, who lived in Stimpson House last year, have heard strange noises coming from different parts of the dorm. During her upper year, Witt's room directly faced the graveyard, and she often heard loud scraping noises coming from outside her window late at night.
Every Saturday night at 1 a.m. on the dot, there was like a scraping noise that sounded like a snow shovel, like scraping against the brick, like right outside my window. And it would last an hour, and it would be so loud that I wouldn't be able to go to sleep. And I would like open my blinds and look around outside, and I wouldn't see anything.
There's these like crazy huge pipes, like really. You've been down to the.
However, Stimpson House counselor Nicholas Ziffelt attributes students' alleged paranormal experiences to the way that sound travels through the dorm.
There's these like crazy huge pipes, like really. If you've been down in the actual garage, the pipes are hilariously huge for there being like 40 people here. It looks like it's going to support like many hundreds of people. I guess I'm not a plumber, but those would be my guesses. That sounds carry very strangely in this building because of all the holes in the walls and the thin walls and stuff. And there are like massive pipes, and so it could be that could be a possible explanation.
Ziffelt believes the close proximity of the dorm to the graveyard plays a role in inspiring haunted tales. On the other hand, while not all students share her sentiment, Drew believes that Stimpson House is definitely haunted.
I feel like Stimpson probably definitely has a ghost problem due to the fact we're next to a graveyard, our address is 13 Chapel Ave, and Alfred E. Stimpson wasn't a great guy, so it's like karma or something. Leaves ghosts in the storm. There's totally a possibility of other null dorms being haunted, just because I think like location and also sanctuary is sort of creepy.
However, Stimpson isn't the only campus building that seems to be haunted. In fact, it seems that other places of student residence, even closer to the main campus, have shared similar experiences. So we explored a dorm in Flagstaff, Smith House. Luke Bosch Powers, 22, took us on a tour of Smith House, which from the outside looked like any other Victorian-style dorm on campus. But those who have lived there have plenty of stories to share.
Lights would go out just on the third floor, the breakers would go, and when OPP, the electricians, would come, they wouldn't necessarily be able to figure out what the cause was. Many people would say, oh, it might be a mouse, it might be a squirrel chewing at wires, but the electricians would reassure us, no, all the wiring is safe and not damaged, and they really weren't too sure what was going on. Smith is a very old house. We'd hear unexplainable sounds as well. And Smith House was built, I believe, in the 1870s. A lot of people have come and gone through these buildings. That's what I have a feeling about.
As with Stimpson House, some students believe that Smith House may be haunted, but others may not be so sure.
I totally believe that Smith House is haunted. So a couple of days ago, I know that one of my boys said that I came to his room at, I want to say like 11:30, and I started just talking to him, and he asked me like the next day like what was up with that, and I was so blank faced, I had no clue what he was talking about. So I think that, and that happened like 2 or 3 times where he just said like I was passing by his room, and his roommate says he has no clue who that was. And doesn't remember any of that, and I for sure don't remember any of that, but he for sure does. So that might have been a ghost, or that might have just been sleepiness.
At the beginning of the year, our house counselor was warning us that Smith House had some spiritual presences, and I haven't really encountered them myself, but there have been a few things. I feel like there are crickets in the walls. I feel like some bugs and some animals like to visit me at night.
So, are Stimpson and Smith House haunted? While this isn't a case closed per se, I think we can all agree there are, indeed, strange occurrences going around campus. This is Andover. Unsolved. Sabby reporting.